Here's water damage next to the bathtub. Learn what's causing it and eliminate it. If you are a subscriber to my channel, thank you and welcome back. If you're not, please consider subscribing. It's free. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you don't miss upcoming videos. If you have a bathtub, most likely you've seen this before. Water damage to the wall next to the bathtub on the same side as where the plumbing is. Where's the water coming from? Most likely it's coming from the hole that the pipe for the spout is coming through. Water travels behind the wall, rides along the edge of the bathtub. Again, this is all happening behind the finished surface and causes damage like this. In most cases, I've seen people put splash guards in order to prevent this from happening. However, that doesn't solve the problem because again, the water is traveling behind the finished wall. So let me show you how I've fixed this, and it's been successful since the past 4 years. Removing the spout, gaining access to the pipe, installing a red disc seal. Now let me tell you about red disc seal. The solution that most people use is silicone caulk, and they caulk the inside of this hole, make an attempt at sealing it. It's difficult to seal around this pipe, so what I've come up with that we've been using since 2017, and it works. So I want to remove this stuff here. This is a disc. It's a red disc, we call it. And there is a seal. The seal fits inside of this groove. Use 220 or 320 grit sandpaper to make sure that the copper pipe is smooth. Use a paper towel to wipe off the pipe. Apply a small amount of silicone caulk to the back of the red disc. Insert the disc and push it all the way against the wall. You should see a little bit of that silicone caulk oozing out. Next, apply silicone grease to the O-ring. Slip the O-ring over the copper pipe, push it all the way back until it meets the red disc. Then take a small screwdriver, insert the O-ring into the groove. It should sit nicely inside the groove. So if the pipe for the spout coming out of the wall doesn't look like this, and it looks like this, where there is a fitting at the end, since you can slip the red disc over the fitting, now we have a split version that fits around the pipe and seals against water going back behind. So the things you're going to need in order to do this install is, first you want to make sure that the wall is clean of any old caulking material, plumber's putty, and also it's nice and dry because we're going to apply some silicone here to make sure that the disc sticks to the wall. So as I said, you have the split version that looks like a jigsaw puzzle. They go together just like this.
Since we can slip an O-ring over this pipe, this area will get filled with silicone caulk. I like to use this 2.8 ounce version. Gives me more precision to apply the caulking material. So here's how it would look. You take the caulking material, apply a small bead all the way around, and where the two pieces meet. Keep in mind this is on the back side, so we have the words in the front. So once you've done that, we make sure again the wall is clean. You can take a small piece of sandpaper, 220 grit sandpaper, and just make sure that the area where the red disc sits against the pipe is nice and clean on both sides, free of any debris. Take the paper towel again one more time, make sure that section of the pipe is nice and clean. In this case, again, we'll have some silicone caulk that is just gonna seal the final part of our red disc. So once you've applied the silicone to the back side and you've put that silicone where the two pieces meet, take that all the way against the wall, push it against the wall, let it sit just like that. Do the same thing with the second piece. Both pieces are actually identical. Do the same thing with the second piece, just like that. Again, we have a small bead of silicone caulk all the way around and in between. Don't forget the between, right there. And you just line the two up, and these two pieces just meet. Perfect fit. Push it against the wall. As you're pushing against, you know you got a fair amount of silicone caulk. As the silicone starts oozing out in between, and should also get a little bit coming out of the sides. There it is right there. So push it against the wall until you get that silicone coming out. Then, as I said before, since we cannot get an O-ring over the pipe because of the fitting, we'll take the silicone caulk and apply a fair amount in the center where that O-ring usually goes. This will seal any small gaps there, just like that. Now it's time to clean up and look for any pinholes. This is the typical installation where on this side we have the copper pipe where the bathtub spout sits, and then this is behind the scenes, behind the finished wall, where we are going to protect. So we're going to do a quick leak test on this to show what's going on and how well the disc works. This is a shaker, salt shaker, that I have a piece of paper towel inside. This will represent what's going on behind the wall. So we'll keep these two pieces together and spray the front of the red disc, and you'll see that there is not even a single drop of water passing the red disc. So the paper towel and inside of the shaker stays nice and dry. So here we go. Pretty sure I'm gonna get wet here just for you guys. All right, here's our spray, and we're gonna spray the heck out of this thing here in a second. There went all my discs. There we go. The test must go on. So this is a pretty strong spray, pretty strong pressure that we're putting on this O-ring and the disc. Normally you won't see this in a normal installation, but this really represents how well that red disc is performing, how well it's sealed. So offline, obviously, we've done many of these tests, not just a few minutes, but several hours, several days, and the disc performs quite nicely. And we have quite a few of these discs now installed out in the field, over 500 I think, with positive results. So there you have it. So what we'll do here, I'm going to dry off the outside of it to make sure that the inside doesn't get compromised, and then we'll flip it open and then we'll examine what's going on inside. Let's see if I brought a paper towel with me someplace. I hope. I did not, did I? Okay, yep, I have a paper towel right here. So we're going to go ahead and, I was going to dry off my arm first, but let's not do that. Let's dry this off. Let's dry off the outside of it to make sure we don't get any droplets inside. And we'll open it up, and the outside of our pipe is nice and dry, as it should be, because the seal's doing its job. And then as we look inside, it is bone dry, and it works.
3 tips on how to install the bathtub spout on top of a copper pipe that has a red disc to make sure that the spout is covering the entire red disc. If you do not have a red disc, make sure you order your red disc now. Take a look at some of my other videos that I've posted on this red disc. It will save you a lot of headache down the road. So tip number 1, this is a spout that's manufactured by Danco. It's called a universal spout. And in this installation, since there is copper pipe coming out of the wall, this insert is used. The insert's already inside of this spout, but tip number 1 is when you go and screw this in, make sure you screw it in all the way in order to give you the clearance on the backside that's necessary to completely hide the red disc. Tip number 2, the threads, they give you Teflon tape. Make sure you apply Teflon tape to the threads. It makes the process of assembly a lot easier. Tip number 3, the copper pipe that's coming out of the wall, make sure it's not sticking out past 2 inches. Once you follow those 3 tips, then the spout should go on there nice and easy and cover the entire red disc. Okay, I said there were 3 tips. Here's a 4th one. Here's a bonus tip. So as you're rotating this adapter in order to gain depth so you can hide the entire red disc under the spout, do it in this order. Take a pair of needle nose pliers or pliers and rotate the adapter until all the threads are engaged and you have the proper depth in order to hide the red disc. So you can test it, keep rotating, test it until you get to a point that you're satisfied. Then secure the spout using the screw to the pipe, as opposed to doing it this way, where you secure the spout to the pipe using the screw and then you keep rotating. Don't do that, because if you do that, the head of the screw will start scoring the copper pipe, and if you rotate enough, it'll actually cut the pipe. Hope you find those tips helpful. Thank you for watching.
If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification.